Hi, I'm Tracy and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. Today on the show I'm going to be showing you some things that I've made. I'm going to show you some work in progress. I'm going to talk about my week and I hope that you've got some time that you can join me. I would love to say first off thank you to all the people who have been watching the past 3 episodes. Today's my 4th, so it's exciting to get to that point where it's almost a month of recording, so that's kind of a bit of a milestone. And so I'd like to say thanks for people who have watched, and for my 9 subscribers that I have so far, so that's really exciting for me. It's nice to know that I'm not just talking to myself, because I do that enough as it is. So anyway, I thought I would do a quick wrap up of what's been keeping me busy this week, and so definitely work, and it was nice. It was a 4-day week, so that was kind of nice. And a course, I've been taking an online course. I've been trying to get my assignments done early in the week so that I can have my Saturdays to knit or do whatever craft I'm working on, and my Sundays to record, edit, and then if I have any time left over, a little bit of crafting and then some laundry, so that we're ready for the week ahead. So last week was Easter, and I talked a little bit about what I had got the boys, and so I'll show you what I did get them. Nathaniel was not happy with me. Nathaniel was not happy with the Easter bunny, so that's how it goes sometimes. So he got some soap, and so he was very offended, and I said, well, maybe the Easter bunny thought you smelled, because I think he went the whole weekend without a bath, so he needed some soap. And then he got some bubble bath as well. So not a very exciting Easter bunny came to our house, at least as far as Nathaniel was concerned. Isaac was very, very happy with what the Easter bunny brought him, and I talked a little bit about it last week, that he got a necktie. So he's 15 and he likes to wear ties every once in a while. I think he's got one of them out right now because he's got a series of the Harry Potter ties. So the Easter bunny completed his series of the Harry Potter ties, and so this was his Hufflepuff necktie. It's still crinkly in the package, and so that's one of the things he has. He already has, and I'll show you the ones he does have. I think he must be wearing his Ravenclaw one because that's his house. So this is the Slytherin tie. This one's for me. That's his, but I should be wearing it. And then, of course, as all Harry Potter fans should have, is a lovely not Hogwarts, Gryffindor tie. My brain's a little bit fuzzy this morning. So he has those, and the blue Ravenclaw as well. And then I just thought I'd share a couple of the other ties that are in his collection while I was upgrading his closet. We bought him this one a couple of years ago, and it's got a Darth Vader on it. This is from Disney World, and I didn't give it to him right away. I think he got it for Christmas, but it's kind of a fun, like, it doesn't look so obvious when, you know, from a distance. And I think I originally had bought it for Greg, but Greg very rarely wears ties, and Isaac really got into ties. And then I talked a couple of weeks ago, I showed my Haunted Mansion mug, and this is the necktie wallpaper that I had purchased for Isaac. And so I got the mug, and he got the tie. So kind of a nice little collection he has going. He's got some really fun ones in his closet. He's got a little tie rack, and they're there. So that's what the Easter bunny brought for the boys. What did the Easter bunny always brings me yarn, so lots and lots of yarn. So I showed some of that last week. I got a little bit this week, not too much. Postman, I don't know. They're still not they haven't worked that out yet. So hopefully in the next week or so. I do have some exciting things on my way. I may have purchased the Beauty and the Beast sock yesterday from Mustache Yarns because it's so cute and self-striping, and so that will be coming in the next few weeks. I think it's a little more than, I think it's a pre-order, so it'll be maybe a month or so before I get that. So that'll be exciting to share. Other things that have happened. I have been working away on my Shawl Society 1 season 2 patterns, and I had been working on the purple one, and I showed the beads and I showed the yarn last week when I talked about the Shawl Society, and I was 6 rows away from being finished, and so I did finish that one. And of course, what was the first thing I did? I cast on another one. So I did cast it on in small, and I got that off the needles yesterday. And I can't show them, not yet. The episode after May 4th, I'll be able to show both of those. I still have to block them, so right now they just look like dish rags, but they are beautiful. I think I like the large better in regards to just the overall design and the size, but I really liked working with the Woodland Vine yarn. So both will be beautiful once I get them up. And I had shown the Angry Orchard, although I cannot figure out why that orchard is angry, because it was beautiful yarn, and I'll be showing that a little bit later as well. So today I wanted to talk a bit about my crafting history, and I was trying to think of what to talk about over the week, and so I just sort of thought I'd give a little bit of things that I've done in the past. I have talked about the fact that I had sewn when I was in high school and into my 20s, and but I'm going to talk about some other things that I've done as well. And I guess some of my early memories involve my mother crafting, not as much as I try to fit in, but enough that it's memorable. So I remember when I was really young, my mom was working on a crocheted blanket, and I thought that she was going to be giving it to my cousin as I think my aunt, because my aunt was expecting my cousin, and so I was very surprised on my birthday when I got the blanket, and it was one of those variegated acrylics, but it's still upstairs. I probably should have brought it down with me, but I love that blanket. And there's little spots where it's like a pastel-y color, so it's yellows and pinks and oranges, and I always love that little tiny spot of perfect orange in there, and so I still have that, and that's something that I really treasure. I remember when we drove out west the summer that Grease was out, because we stopped at every single drive-in in every single movie theater and watched Grease, and when we were in British Columbia, my mother wanted some yarn from British Columbia, and so she bought heaps and heaps of it. And of course, being 9 years old, or however old I was, I think I was 9, it was really boring going in the yarn store. So I should maybe take pity on my children when I go in the yarn store now, because I remember, not being too enthralled being there. But she bought chunky wool, and she made sweaters, and so I had a blue sweater she made for me, and it had a T on the arm, and I'm sure she has it somewhere. I'll have to see if I can borrow it one day to show on the podcast. But so that was kind of a early knitting memory. For my own knitting, I don't really remember. I remember wanting to knit when I was young, and my mother saying, "Oh, no, you've got to cork first." And corking is so boring. It's just, going around in circles, and all you get are these little snakes, and it's fun for, 5 minutes. And then, it just takes forever, and then what do you do with it? You have to then sew it all together. So, I mean, I love the idea of it, but I just wanted to pick up those needles and run with it, not cork. So at some point I learned to knit. I think my mother, tried to show me how to hold the yarn properly in my right hand, and got frustrated. So I learned at some point. So anyway, I remember I made a little sweater for when my sister was born. She's 17 years younger than me, and so I made it in yellow and green, and it was a little sweater with a sailboat. I'm hoping that's in the cedar chest, because I'd love to pull that out and look at that. So a little bit of color work when I was 16 when I knit it. And I remember picking up I just was looking in a closet, and my mother had a bag of knitting, and I just pulled it out, and she had a sweater on circulars with color work, and I just started picking it up, and that was the first time I had used circulars, and it just started knitting away, just finishing off her sweater for her. I don't think I finished it, but I did get a good chunk done on it, so it was kind of nice to pull it out and work on something that had been stuffed in a closet for a while. And then there was this one sweater I did, and I loved the pattern because it was really kind of interesting, but it was really ugly. I used blue and green yarn, and on the front it was North and South America, and on the back it was Asia and Australia and Africa, and so the world all around, but my color work was really awful, so I had these little pulls. It was just, I wouldn't want to wear that anywhere, and of course that was well before blocking, and it was all in acrylic, and it was horrible. But and I have no idea where that is, probably in a landfill somewhere, sadly, but it would be interesting to take a look at that now. I don't do a lot of color work, and I'm not as confident with color work, but I think I'd be better at it than I was when I was a teenager. So, and then I guess when I was in New Zealand, I bought some wool and knit a sweater. I wish I had bought one more ball of wool because my button band was a little bit off, because I was starting to get a little bit worried that I was going to run out of yarn. So the other things that I guess that I've worked on, and I'll show this one, is this is in my sewing room on the back of my chair, and I've got a photograph on Instagram with it there, but this is from a book, this one here, the Bernat Cotton Tots, the Sweet Sets, and I just used the Bernat cotton yarn, and so this is a blanket that I did years ago after I'd had Isaac. So I love the colors in this, and the flowers, and this is crocheted, so it's big, it's warm. After I had Isaac, I was trying to do some crafting, between feedings and diaper changes and stuff like that, and I was really hoping that one day I'd have a little girl, so I started to crochet this because I thought the pattern was really cute, and never had the girl, and no one was ever good enough nor knit worthy enough, not good enough, just not knit worthy enough, crochet worthy enough to get this blanket. And so for the longest time it stayed in just a chest. It hadn't been blocked, or had been finished but just not blocked, and that was before I knew about the magic of water and blocking. And so I just had it put away, and one day I thought, you know what, that's for me, I'm knit worthy enough, and I'm keeping this. And so this is so soft, and so this is now in my sewing and knitting room, and I see it when I go in there, and it makes me happy, and I love the sun, and I love the flowers, and I decided that even though it's a baby blanket, it's mine. I made it, and it really does bring me joy. My crocheting's not all that fantastic, especially around the edging. I'm not as confident with my crocheting as I am with my knitting, but I am quite pleased with my sweet blanket. So I have that to show you. The other thing that I've done, so knitting, crocheting, I used to do a lot of cross stitch. And unfortunately, getting older, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. And so I haven't really done as much, but certainly in the 90s and early 2000s, I did a lot of cross stitch. The one thing I found, especially when I'd had Isaac, was I got carpal tunnel really badly, especially when the last couple of months of my pregnancy with Isaac. So knitting and crocheting was painful. So, and I at that point I through with my my right hand. A few years ago, I taught myself how to do continental knitting, and that has made a huge difference. I don't get the carpal tunnel anymore, and I can knit away for many, many hours, and I don't have the repetitive strain injury, I guess is what it's called. And so that was a really life-changing way, and certainly brought me to the knitting, that amounts of knitting that I'm able to do now. So what I did do though was a lot of cross stitch, counted cross stitch, and my grandmother used to do a lot of embroidery, and so I guess I have always sort of seen her beautiful work, and I really love working on linen. I don't like Aida cloth. For those who do, power to you. I just don't like working with it. I just love the roughness, or it's not really roughness, but the unevenness of the fabric in linen. So I'm going to show you one of the things that one of my cross stitches, and this is my wedding pillow that I made for myself. And so a little bit of a story behind it. So these rings here, so there's one that has a little happy face, and there's one that has a little heart. These are my actual wedding rings, and I'm not kidding. When I got married, my husband and I decided to elope. And so we had been engaged, and we decided that we didn't want to wait, and we just decided to get married then and there. And so we went to, I guess at that point it was Zellers, or kind of like a Walmart, and the little gumball machines. So we put money in the gumball machines, and this one came out for me, and this one came out for Greg. And that's what we used when we got married. So these are my actual wedding rings, because yeah, I'm not wearing those now, no. And so what we did was we did get married, and then a year later we had a renewal of vows where we exchanged proper rings. And so yeah, so I did this, and this is when my eyesight was much better. So I had someone else do the pillow part. So the person who made my dress for the renewal of vows sewed the lace and the fabric on for me. But so the last cross stitch that I actually did was a couple of years ago when my sister got married, and so we did the same thing for her, and but different colors. So I've got the blues and pinks, and she's got some beautiful reds. Her husband wore a kilt, and so I think we went with the colors in the kilts, and so it's really pretty. So if I can find a photograph, I'll try and put a photo up of the two, but I'll have to search deep for a photograph. So that was the last time I did some cross stitch, because I was finding it really frustrating, because as I said, I really like working with the linen. I was finding it very, very frustrating to see, and even though I'd put the glasses on, it was much more difficult than it used to be. So I've sort of fallen into knitting for now. So, and then last night I did some sewing stuff, and again, I'm missing my vision that I used to have. So one thing I did pick up a couple of weeks ago was a notebook, and it was on sale, which was even better. And so it's got nice, just plain pages. I haven't started it, and I'd like to start doing like a craft journal. And so I picked up, when I got the wool barn order in, I picked up some washi tape, because I'd like to start putting a little bit of the yarn in, and just talking a little bit about the project. I'm really fairly good about putting stuff on Ravelry. It's a lot faster to put something on Ravelry than to design a page in this notebook, but I'm hoping that, it's a great place to store. And one of my coworkers brought in her grandmother's knitting journal, and it was beautiful that she had little swatches, and it was just so old, but it was just such a nice artifact that she brought in. It was so nice that she brought it in to share with me, and just the, you know, just so tactile, which is, you know, I love Ravelry, but it is nice having that tactile stuff. So hopefully we'll get there. So as I said, I have completed 2 shawls for the Shawl Society, and last week I talked about that I had washed my material for my dress that I'm going to do, my McCall's dress, and I had ironed it, and I took the sewing machine out of the box, and I set myself the goal to cut it out. So last night I was up very, very late, very, very early, cutting out my material. I think I spent about 4 hours because it wasn't, I had my pants license. I tell you, this dress was much more complicated to cut out than any pants have ever been. I think it's because it was so wide, and my width was only 115 centimeters, and the width of the dress went like below, and I had 2 pieces that I had to tape together for the pattern. This is a McCall's pattern. McCall's patterns aren't supposed to be that rough. Anyway, so I did get it all done, but I was working on my blocking boards with a sewing grid down, and then I used the self-healing cutting board and rolled them. So by the time I got to that point last night, I just thought, oh, let's just get this all cut out and get it done. I still have to do the interfacing, and I have to put the markings on, and then I can start to sew. So I'm really excited to start doing that. Do I dare set myself a sewing goal for this week? I'm not sure. Because all week I've got to cut out the material. I said on the podcast I was going to cut out the material. So I hadn't done that until last night. So I think it's good to set that goal, because then it keeps me honest, and I have some accountability, even if it's just to myself. So for this week, I would like to get the markings on, and I'd like to get the interfacing secured and cut out, secured onto the pieces they need to be secured on, and maybe do a little bit of sewing. But it is going to be a busy week ahead. I've got a lot of coursework to do for the course I'm taking, and as I said, I try to get it done early in the week, so then I've got the later half of the week to do the crafting. But because it is online, we have to sort of comment through the week, so I've been finding that a bit challenging, just because I keep checking, and I get my stuff in early, but not everyone else does, so I'm finding that a bit frustrating. But it is what it is, and I'd rather be there in person, just to clarify some of the points, but it's going well. For one of the assignments, we have to listen or read a book, and I talked about that I was going to listen to a book, and I'm listening to a book about teenage girls and social media, and it's really depressing. Scary for sure, and so I've got to listen through that. I listened to a bit of it. The language is a little bit much for me to hear, but I'm learning a lot, I guess, and sometimes wondering why I've put myself on a social media platform when you hear all of the stuff that girls are going through. But anyway, I will get that done and get my book review up, and hopefully do well on that assignment. So let's move on to I've already done my favorite things. My gosh, I just incorporated into my crafty history and my favorite things. So let's move on to It's a Sockness. So previously on It's a Sockness, I had shown this yarn, and this was the Life in the Long Grass starboard that Helen gifted me when we went to England. And I had a little bit done, and I've got a little bit more done, and I put a heel on, and you may recognize that this is my Angry Orchard that I said I would be mentioning later on. So this is the Angry Orchard, and then this. So that's how much I had left from the Shawl Society, was enough for a heel, and this little bit here, which is now at 11 grams. So it was 17 grams, now at 11. I really wanted to do the toe in this color, but I'm a little bit nervous that I will run out of yarn for the second toe on the second sock. So I think what I'm going to do is pull in my Springtime in Washington yarn for the toe. Just for some fun. Doesn't really have much to do with the Iceberg Alley theme that I was going for with the Angry Orchard and the Springtime in Washington. However, it's coming along nicely. So I've been knitting these on my signature needles. I really love them. They do get a little bit, I find at the ends, they get a little bit, I don't know what you like, there seems to be like a little bit of a catch, which sometimes bugs me. So sometimes I can just sort of take my fingernail and it goes away. But anyway, so I turned the heel last night. I'm going to reconnect with my main color and do the gusset today so that when I get to work tomorrow, I can just keep going around. Now I wanted to have some to put into a pair of socks for Nathaniel. So why I kept going to 7 inches on my leg, I don't know. That's why I decided to do the heel and toe in a different color. So then I'll have some yarn for him, and whether it's just for a heel and toe for him, I'd like to at least have, because he was with me when we got this, some socks for him. So it's a sockness, and I'm hopefully next week I will have a hoe, or what would even be better would be a finished pair of socks, because I haven't shown anything finished that I've been able to finish during the week for a while, but soon there will be a flood because of course there's the 2 shawl societies, and then there is another pair of socks that I made out of this lovely Molly Weasley yarn, so I'll be able to show that in a few weeks as well. So let's move on to brown paper packages, and I did get some things in the mail this week, and like I said, not a lot. Our mail person, something, they still haven't bid on our route. I don't know, maybe soon. So anyway, on the other day, I received some making magazines, and I was really happy when I heard this one was being re-released, because I really felt like I missed the boat last year when the making magazine came out, and I don't know, I guess at the time there weren't any places in Toronto that carried it. I did see this at Unit in Toronto, but I had already ordered it, so I decided to wait, obviously. And I did subscribe for the next series, which I think is dots, and I don't know, maybe it'll be dashes. I don't know what the fall one will be. So I was looking at some of the pictures and I thought, oh, let's get that. So I really love the embroidery and the cross stitching section that they have in here. So their little coloring design. Just a nice little magazine. I don't have a lot of magazines, so just to put with some of my things. And then there's so this one was Flora. And then we've got Fauna, and as I said, Dots will be coming out in the next little while. Fauna's a little bit more substantial, has a few more knits that I'm probably more likely to do some sweaters. There were a couple of shawls. Where's the sweater? I like that sweater right there, is kind of a cute one. So we'll get to that at some point. Who knows when. I'm always busy. Anyway, so in the mail I also got some patterns. Vogue had a sale where it was, I think, $4.99, and then if you bought the membership it was $3.99 for a pattern. And I ended up purchasing the membership because with all the patterns that I bought, it was $2 less if I had purchased the membership as well. So I decided to purchase the membership, which was good because I ended up buying some other patterns and I got them for $1.99, but those will be coming in the next week. So so some of the patterns I purchased was this one, and I just sort of liked the sort of idea of how the multicolored stripes. I like the flary skirts, so I got an asymmetrical bottom one. I'm usually all about symmetry, but in dresses, I do like that asymmetrical bottom. I really love wearing these kind of dresses with like a pullover type of dress, or I guess like a jumper type of dress. And but I like this one with the sleeves, so I think that will probably be the first one I make from this pattern here. But I do see making a few with the vest type top as well in the near future. Just a pattern with, typical sundress pattern. I then got this one, so I like the shorter version, but the longer version's nice too. So versatile patterns, and just a little bit of something fun to wear. And then we're getting into a bit more of a vintage style. I love the Vogue vintage patterns. They're really fun. And I have some upstairs, but I'm liking the little nice neckline, and they always do such beautiful not photographs. They do photographs as well that are lovely, but the drawings are just so classic. And another Vogue vintage pattern. And for something a little bit different, I said I do like this sort of asymmetrical thing, and I love the pants that go with this, so pick that up. And this cute dress. Here Scout is hearing kids going by with the wagon, so she's looking out the window. So, and then my final Vogue one is a nice flary dress. So so that's what I got in the mail from Vogue. I did order some McCall's patterns last weekend. They had a sale for $1.99, and there's a dress that I'm really looking forward to getting the pattern. Are you gonna come up? Come on up. Come on up. Everybody wants to see you. No? Don't be silly. Okay. Anyway, so I picked up some more McCall's patterns, and they were $1.99 each because I was able to use my club membership. Shipping is where I get nailed because it's very, very expensive to have anything mailed from the U.S. to Canada, but it's still a lot cheaper than going to the fabric store and purchasing the pattern. But there's one that I really, and I was starting to say, there's one that I really am interested in getting it, and it's sort of it looks like you pull it over and you wrap it around, and I have some beautiful green polka dot linen that I bought a few weeks ago. I didn't show it, but I will show it when I get this pattern, and so I'm looking forward to maybe doing that pattern with the green polka dots. I think I have enough yarn. I think I have enough fabric. So, and then last week I had a whole segment on this, but I was referring to them as beads, and these are not beads. And there she is. Say hi, Scout. Yes. Say hello. Yes, she's gonna sit behind me again. So anyway, so last week I was going to show some buttons that I bought from Loop, and this was to go with the London Cosmopolitan colorway. But when I went through and was editing, I had referred to these as beads, not once, but numerous times, and I thought I must have lost my mind. So these are not beads, they are buttons, and they're sort of cute. They've got the little pink, so very similar color to the London Cosmopolitan colorway. That was the sort of corally pink, and then they're just on the back, one of those ones that you sew through. So I got several of these. I think I got 8, and I can't remember which pattern I had in mind for it, but so buttons, some yarn, and hopefully eventually I'll get to making that sweater that I've been saying I've been going to make for a while, at least to myself. And then I also got these cute mother of pearl buttons, a little bit of with etching and bit of shiny to it. So I don't know if it's going to be clear or not. It's hard to see. So anyway, I got about 8 or 10 of these as well. So one day I'll figure out what to make with those. I think I had thought about using these on another Old Rose wrap once I finally get around to making my second old rose wrap. I've had the yarn, I just haven't had the time. But anyway, and then my big yarn purchase a couple of weeks ago that arrived in the mail this week, I was very excited about this one, is from Wollonvine Yarns. And so I got 3. This one is Grimm, and I got this one on the Volca base, which is the 80-10-10. So 80 superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and everything I'm going to show is on the Volca base, and it's 435 yards for 100 grams. So just a black. I don't buy a lot of black yarn, a lot of sort of staple colors. I do tend to get a lot of speckles, so I thought I must have been in a very interesting mood that night when they had the update, because I originally wanted to get Goth Day Party because it had this beautiful teal streak and purple with the black, and I got completely shut out of that one. So, but amazingly, I was able to get 3 skeins of yarn. So this one in Grimm, I love so this is the new outfits for the Wollonvine Yarns, and beautifully written in the purple. So Grimm. And then I got Black Pearl. So definitely I was thinking of trying to get things that I could put together. So if I were doing a 2 or 3 color shawl. So Black Pearl. That's so nice and soft. I'm looking forward to using this. And then the other one I got was a Free Swim Purple Paranormal, and this was I guess just developed off the Paranormal colorway was just developed. Oh my gosh, this is so soft. And so it's got a little free, had it in a bag that had there, so it had a little Free Swim sticker on it. Nathaniel's done something with. It was in the middle and something popped up on the screen that Nathaniel had set up and telling me time to go to bed. It's not time to go to bed, it's only like 11 something right now. Anyway, so this is the other one I bought, Purple Paranormal, and it was a new colorway design just called Paranormal, and this was, I guess, a fun variation with the purple, but really, really quite nice. And I think that, you know, all 3 of my yarns are very complimentary and fun, and who can resist Black Pearl? You know, the whole Pirates of the Caribbean and the Black Pearl, and there's the Purple Paranormal with the Free Swim sticker on it. So fun, nice. I did get the Goth Day Party skein last week in the update, so that was what I had originally tried to get, didn't get it. So surprisingly, there was one the following week, and I got that. Really, I was amazed. I was just happy, grabbed it, and so that'll be coming on its own in the next week. I was very good at the update this past week. There was some beautiful, I think it was tea leaves. She had a beautiful like pink colorway, and I was really tempted, but did not purchase. So anyway, so those are my lovely brown paper packages that I got this week and a little bit last week. So in the next week or so, I will be hopefully getting the pattern for the Shawl Society 2.2, so the June version, and I'll get to, I always love picking up the yarn when I get the patterns from Helen and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. And so I'm excited to see what it looks like and to do my yarn choosing. So, and I'll get that done as soon as possible so that I can do some other things as well. I'm really wanting to do All About That Brioche, and that's by Malia Designs. And I've had it in my cart for a while. I think maybe this weekend I'll finally bite the bullet and buy it. And I took a brioche workshop back in November. My sister and I took it, and but I just haven't been able to fit it into the schedule otherwise. Or no, I think it was the end of October we took it, so a little while ago, and I still haven't done what I want to do with it. So I have some Sosu patterns, Suzanne Summers patterns that have been in my wish list, that I have the pattern, I have the yarn for it, I just haven't made the time. And so a few of them have brioche, some of them don't, but I would like to get to those. I did notice she is having an MCAL coming up in early May. I think I'll see what it looks like before I join in, because time is going. I've got two more wedding type shawl gifts that I would like to make for a couple of people in my life, and so I've got to fit that in, and of course doing all the tests for the Shawl Society. I might have a bit of a lull in May. So I'm hoping, and of course I always love having a pair of socks on the needles, but you know, there's always so many patterns, so much yarn, and so little time. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. But anyway, I don't think I have anything else to share this week. I really thank you for joining me. It's nice to know that I'm not talking to myself in a room. At least I have Scout with me, and so huge thanks to anybody who's watched, and huge thanks to anyone who's subscribed. I hope that we see you again next week, and have a wonderful week. Thank you from the Comfy Red Couch. Hi. You know, if people look like their dogs, I don't mind looking like a golden retriever. I mean, you know, same color hair, floppy ears. They're so sweet too. Who wouldn't want to look like a golden retriever? Right? Who wouldn't want to look like a golden? So sweet. Right, Scouty?